Good evening, everybody. I'd first of all like to thank you all for logging on to this Team Training Tuesday. I also want to thank one of the members of the team, Clement, who requested us to speak about irritable bowel syndrome, one of those very vague and ambiguous diagnoses. So I thought that we'll do what we like to do best on a Tuesday evening, and that is to demystify various conditions and diagnoses and hopefully bring some understanding. This is a condition that is becoming more and more common. I'll introduce myself. My name is Essa Zanambasi. I'm a medical doctor by training. By passion, I really love what we all do in Near Life. And if there are any guests, you are most welcome. If you are new to Near Life or are hearing about it for the first time, you are welcome. Near Life is the world's leading health and wellness company, and we actually call ourselves a family. So let's get into the presentation so that we can have some time left over for discussion afterwards. I want to start by talking about Hippocrates, who is believed to have been the father of modern medicine. He was born a long time ago in ancient Greece. And he said that we should let food be our medicine, and medicine, the food. And then he also said, walking is man's best medicine, which gives you the idea that he was talking about exercise, right? And then this is one quote that I love, the third one. It is far more important to know what person the disease has than what disease the person has. And that is one of the things that I emphasize on these Tuesday evenings. To get to know the person, to get to know yourself as the first person, and to get to know other people before you throw any supplements at them or before you even label whatever it is they have. And that's what Near Life is very good at, to get to know people and to build relationships. And then the fourth one, before you heal someone, ask him if he is willing to give up the things that make him sick. That is so critical when we discuss what we are discussing today. And the fifth one, which I think I agree with, all disease begins in the gut. And today we're discussing irritable bowel syndrome, or a condition that afflicts the gut. And it's, to me, I call it a label of many things. So just to remind you that the colon is an important organ, and just to be aware that your body is a house in which you live. Your house needs, at the very least, periodic attention. Every function and activity of your system, day and night, whether it is physical, mental, and spiritual, is dependent on the attention you give it. So all these points we emphasize in this family. You need to look after your body. So let's start by talking about elimination, the main function of the colon and the gut generally, apart from other things like absorption. Elimination of waste products is one of the most vital functions of the living organisms. In fact, it is said that cells live longer without nutrients than they can live in accumulated waste products. Our health, in other words, is dependent not only upon intake of proper nutrients, but also the efficient elimination of waste. And so, problems with elimination cause a degree of suffering and discomfort unmatched by virtually anything else. It can cause a lot of problems. The tragedy is that most of this agony is avoidable, guys. And it can be avoided with a few simple changes in diet. And diet is in the broader sense of that word. So let's look at constipation. What is constipation? It's the infrequent elimination and straining at the stool. The result of that is it sets up an array of health problems, such as varicose veins, hiatus hernia, diverticulosis, and diverticulitis. And it also is one of the underlying reasons that people gain unhealthy weight. And this sets up the stage to lead to many other diseases and disorders. So with that kind of background, you can begin to see that the gut is very, very important. And this follows on to from last week's presentation, where we talked about the heart and cardiovascular system in general. So that is the other major organ that is important, or system that is important. The most common causes in modern diet and lifestyle are lack of sufficient fiber and lack of exercise. So let's carry on. I want us to remember that a commonly overlooked cause of constipation in today's world, this world that is full of all sorts of convenient and highly processed foods, is malnutrition. So I hope we can build a case for what we do in this company. So let's look at irritable bowel syndrome itself. I think that has been given as a label for something that is ill understood, but they've had to name it. And we've discussed that a syndrome is a collection of symptoms and signs that can be associated to present as a disorder. And in this case, it is an irritated bowel. So it really describes what is going on. So what could be the causes of this condition is the million-dollar question. I want you to start by asking an important question to yourself and of yourself. What's leaking into my bloodstream? Right? That's an important question. Irritable bowel syndrome and inflammatory bowel disease, such as celiac disease and diseases like that, are descriptions of increased gut leakiness. In other words, the gut is more permeable than it should be because there might be holes in the gut, or there is a disruption of the gut microbiome. Now, the microbiome is that population of organisms, which include bacteria, viruses, it includes fungi or those types of microbes. It might include a few other things that we will touch on, but the gut microbiome is important in its own right. However, sometimes it gets out of hand or it becomes disrupted. So ask yourself that question: do I have increased gut leakiness as a result of holes in the gut or a disrupted gut microbiome? And that is the foundation of irritable bowel syndrome and inflammatory bowel disease. So the possible causes, here they are: toxins, infections that are overwhelming, infestations, allergens such as gluten. Now, what is gluten? Gluten is a protein that is found in most grains, but the most notorious is gluten from wheat. Then some people are allergic to dairy, to eggs, to nuts. And then there's a wide spectrum of sensitivity to different foods in different individuals. So we have to bear that in mind. And then the other possible cause is a poor diet. A diet that might be lacking in variety, a diet that is very low on fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and perhaps very high on meat. I'm not saying meat is bad, but if it is exclusively eaten, then it might create a problem because it doesn't provide the fiber that is needed. And of course, stress. So let's carry on to talk about fiber. Now, muscle of the gut, of the intestine and the colon require bulk to act upon. In other words, to squeeze so that there is established normal elimination. Sorry, let's just go back. Normal elimination. So we need to have adequate amounts of bulk. Unfortunately, modern diets supply less than 10 grams of fiber per day. That is serious. And yet we need anywhere between 20 and 35 grams of fiber daily. So fiber is crucial in our diet, and if we're not supplying it, a lot of challenges arise, such as the bacteria that are supposed to be in our gut and are supposed to be able to be fed, actually feed on fiber. So lack of proper bacteria, let's start with that, in the gut is a factor that causes constipation. And then we have to bear in mind that 2/3 of stool volume is fiber, and the other third are microorganisms. Now, bacteria provide the bulk and break down fiber into a compound called butyrate, which is in fact the primary nourishment for the cells that line the colon. So you see, we need both factors available in our gut. However, any factors that disrupt the gut microbiome cause malnutrition of the cells, the very lining of the gut, that absorptive, very important layer of cells that enable us to become nourished, okay? And so this leads to health because, and this is crucial, over 75% of the entire immune system of our bodies resides in the gut. So can you see the dots that you need to be connected? And that's why I was moved to put big dots so that you really see that we are connecting dots here. So in summary, the importance of balance in the gut, I've said it, but you can read this slide later on. The gut is the home of trillions of bacteria. Good gut bacteria are important. They help us with digestion. And as a result of that, we'll produce certain vitamins, such as the B vitamins. And they also educate the immune system by making butyrate and other short-chain amino acids. And they protect us from autoimmune diseases. Okay, autoimmunity is when the body turns on itself and thinks that the body's cells are the enemy. It's a very common disorder. There are hundreds and hundreds of autoimmune diseases. So the immune system needs to be in balance and to stay alert. And it protects against foreign invaders that cause illness and recognizes the body's own tissues. That's what I've just described. And it therefore protects the tissues and organs from being attacked. So when we talk gut, we are talking a major complex system, which if we can keep to the basics, we would be very healthy indeed. So this is a picture just to show what the gut looks like and what can go wrong, where a healthy gut which has nice functioning tight junctions suddenly is disrupted and becomes leaky. That means the leakiness or the permeability increases. What would cause that? Things like too many antibiotics, okay? Things like infections, things like low stomach acid. We've discussed We've discussed stress as being one of the reasons for leakiness of the gut and other toxins. And all of you know that I love to talk about toxins in the environment. And once those are allowed to impact your gut, then they will be trouble. They definitely will be trouble. And then, of course, other things like funny foods that have food colorants, preservatives, all those can be lumped together as toxins. Now, let me just touch on this topic before we get much further. The gut has coordinated activity. Hydrochloric acid is released by cells in the stomach when food is anticipated or if food is received. And this signal will initiate the actual movement called peristalsis. It's worm-like motion of the digestive tract. And hydrochloric acid, its presence also triggers secretions from the pancreas, such as insulin, and other digestive enzymes. And it also prepares the gallbladder to release all those factors called bile to digest fat, okay? So there's that coordinated activity happening in the gut, but anything to disrupt it will cause challenges. So what happens if there is insufficient hydrochloric acid? Well, what will happen will be constipation. And that happens if secretion of hydrochloric acid is hampered with, if it is discouraged or it is interfered with by antacid use or other things that stop acid production. Now, that is a very, very common line of medication. So you give people antacids and proton pump inhibitors and things that actually actively stop acid production. And that's why there's a lot of people are set up with all sorts of health issues. And when nobody can find a diagnosis, they'll name it irritable bowel syndrome. Then the other thing that will happen is malnutrition as a result of low secretion of acid. And during aging, there is a natural fall off of acid production in the extremes of age, when the child is very young and when the child is old, when the person is much older, there is low secretion of acid, especially in the face of malnutrition, right? And also, there is malfunctioning of the pancreas and the gallbladder as a result of that. Now, I'm putting all these pieces together so that you can see that when we talk about the gut, we are potentially talking about all other conditions that can affect us. Okay, so let's talk about nutrient deficiencies. The body needs a good supply of vitamin B complex. These are B vitamins, pantothenic acid, and is known as vitamin B5. We also need magnesium. We need various minerals and other vitamins. And for example, to help with avoiding constipation, we need a regular supply of magnesium and vitamin C because those are natural laxatives. Last week when we talked about the cardiovascular system, I pointed out that vitamin C is crucial for building collagen that ensures that the structure of the blood vessels is well made and well built. Well, it goes for the gut too. And the gut will only work well if it is built well. So cells lining the gut need to be able to allow nutrients in and waste out so that they can do the very important work of absorbing nutrients to maintain the health of the entire body. And so those of you who are already in the family will recognize that statement. And when you look at the gut, it is just that one layer thick of cells that has to be working to allow nutrients in and waste matter out. And therefore, the lipids and sterols and all the things that we supply, we can supply, but unfortunately are often in low supply in most people's diets. So I just want to touch quickly on the several risks of irregular bowel function, such as colon cancer. It is one of the more common cancers. Slow transit of food through the body permits an overgrowth of bacteria in the gut, and that can cause the breakdown of bile acids. Bile acids are supposed to work within a certain time and should be out of the system. And that's why it's important to have regularity. But if they sit there for days on end, some of those breakdown products, such as alcoholic acid and this other one here, 3-methylcholanthrin, those are known to be among the most powerful natural carcinogens, cancer-causing agents. So you see, I've talked about elimination and constipation and regularity for the reason that many people who are diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, that is one of the complaints, that they become constipated or they have a slow transit time, as it's called, or even if they're going regularly, they still have backing up. And then all those toxins will result in accumulation of quite a lot of fat. And we've said that that is one of the reasons that people gain unhealthy weight. So whenever you see yourself or a client with significant central fat collection or central weight gain, please know that this is an indicator that something had better be done about their overall health, because it indicates pre-diabetes. It indicates the danger for high blood pressure. It indicates dangerously high levels of blood fats that can lead to tissue damage, such as the liver or the kidneys. And then other things are affected, like joints and the self-image. So we are talking about a big, big topic, and it might sound that so-and-so has got irritable bowel syndrome. Let's not take it lightly. Let us actually get down to the root cause. Then I just want a quick mention on the liver. Now that I've just mentioned the liver and fat accumulation in that liver, if that happens, there is overall poor health as a result, because the liver is the key detoxification organ in the body. And just to go further, hormones are metabolized and eliminated by the liver. And if that doesn't happen and they stick around for a long time, that can set up a lot of disease processes. And elimination, therefore, is important so that hormones are not recycled. And that's where we often talk about xenoestrogens, estrogens that are not of our bodies. That must be a good reason to regularly detox and regularly ensure that the liver is working very well indeed. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope I haven't frightened everybody, but just to touch on an important reason for constipation, and that could be dehydration. Dehydration causes constipation. Now, a lot of people might become very enthusiastic and take a lot of fiber, but not keep up with the amount of fluid intake, and that can result in constipation and crusting of old stool inside, and that will set up irritable bowel syndrome that we are talking about today. Then I wanted to emphasize water, right? Many people don't like to drink water. They think that Coke or other cool drinks are fine. No, they're not, because they're very dehydrating. Caffeinated and sweetened and processed drinks are not a good idea. So let us be wise on that one and carry on. In summary, I just will summarize it so that we all get it. Add fiber to your diet, all right? Consider possibility of low stomach acid as a cause of constipation and stomach and gut irritability. Drink adequate amounts of water. I just need to emphasize these things. Then use a probiotic, an acidophilus product, periodically to replenish healthy gut bacteria. I'm aware that the one that we have in our family is not in all markets, but I will give you an alternative. And then supplements are necessary, ladies and gentlemen, especially for the guests. Why we talk the way we talk in this family is because we know that supplements are necessary to fill dietary gaps, because our diets have a lot of gaps. Okay, and we need to be sure that we are providing energy to all muscles, and especially muscles of the gut, if we're to avoid that label of the irritable bowel syndrome. So that's an example of foods that we should be eating. Doesn't it look delicious? And note that there's lots of sulfur containing vegetables and fruits like these ones, the onions, garlic, the cruciferous vegetables. Can you see all these ones? Those are very, very important, and they provide fiber, and they also provide a lot of nutrients that will help with detoxification. Now, in our Tuesday presentations, we like to ask ourselves, what else could it be? All right. And I like it when we think out of the box, especially when we are considering matters of our health, because you all are aware that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So what else could it be? And I like to encourage us to listen to our bodies. I have this phrase that please don't outsource your health, stop outsourcing your health. So what else it could be are parasites. Parasites in the digestive tract. Yes, they could be part of the microbiome, but they might also take over and become quite a nuisance. What is a parasite? It's an organism that lives in or on an organism of a different species. Okay, and so we have three major classes. The first two can easily live in our gut. So I'm just going to now rush a little bit and show you pictures. Don't they look naughty even? They look like they're naughty. So, you know, parasites, such as those that are transmitted from the soil and creep up into the intestine, have a wide range of symptoms, including diarrhea, abdominal pain, weakness and lethargy. They can lead to malnutrition. They might lead to anemia. And parasites might be the cause of irritable bowel syndrome just by the symptoms that they cause. So we have to remember that. And they look something like that. Those are an example of pinworms. And here are some more that really look menacing. And we shall move on. But the reason that we have to keep thinking about parasites and keeping them on the radar as a potential root cause of some otherwise undiagnosed chronic issues that might originally start in the gut are that it has been observed that there is a cross-reactivity between the way the body responds to parasite infestation and the presentation of asthma and other allergic inflammatory diseases. Isn't that interesting? So many people who have parasites that have overwhelmed the body. Yes, a smaller number of parasites might well be in each and every one of us. But if it is overwhelming, they might actually present beyond the gut into asthma and allergy. And then also, parasites are known to absorb heavy metals and also to try and harbor mold spores. They actually hold mold spores within them. And parasites are also known to harbor smaller microbes such as viruses and bacteria. So if you see somebody, or if you know someone, or even you yourself are often sick, you recover and then become sick again. For example, with a flu that doesn't seem to go away. Think parasites and think that, hey, maybe that is the reason I have bowel irritability as well. So there is another picture of a parasite. I've actually seen something similar at a surgical operation years ago that I was attending at. So some parasites can lie dormant for extended periods of time. And this can make diagnosis of parasitic infestation difficult. It can make it quite difficult or challenging because there may be no symptoms, or the symptoms are vague and non-specific. So just remember that one. Now, I just want to say, therefore, that addressing parasites first may be the way to effectively eliminate the smaller germs that cause those recurrent infections and cause ongoing irritable bowel symptoms. Addressing parasites first as a root cause of heavy metal and mold issues may help to resolve those toxicities. So now let us look at ways to strengthen yourself against those parasites. And it is actually the fundamental tenet that we have to strengthen our immune system. And that's what we are really all about, making sure that our immune system serves us well. Just a reminder, your gut is the engine of your body, right? It controls all these things. It will control your mood. It will control your weight. It will control your blood sugar. I said already that over 75% of your entire immune system lives in the gut, and it controls a range of hormones in that many of them are made in the gut, metabolized in the gut, and excreted through the gut to make sure that they're not recycled. So with that in our minds, let's talk solutions. Let's talk some supplementation. All right, B vitamins, very important to give you energy. Deficiency is common. The main role of B vitamins is that they turn food into energy. And that is very, very important for the gut cells particularly. And then vitamins generally have to be from the right source. Now for the visitors, the guests on this call, you might say, what is the difference between those that I can get over the counter and what you are about to show me, which I'm about to show you? Well, ours are whole food and sourced from human food exclusively. Okay, that's the difference. Now, minerals. Similarly, minerals are very, very important. As examples, chromium, it will enhance insulin signaling and sensitivity. Calcium, magnesium, potassium, and zinc. You always hear all those names. All are very, very important for enzymes and other bodily functions. Now, I'm stressing this because, again, due to modern food growing and processing, we are all deficient in minerals, and we therefore need to supplement. And A lot of people think they will wait until they're sick enough before they take action. My call to action is that don't wait, start as soon as possible. So I want to share with you some of the products that we have, and I'm going to focus on 2 sets of products. For details, you will have to continue attending training, but I want you to focus on the core nutrition. And today's targeted solution is the detoxification program, in which we have beta-guard, garlic, stage 6, and a probiotic. So let's just talk about it now. We also have multi-minerals, but among the core nutrition, we have Pro Vitality and the amino acids in our shakes. Now, these are very important because the lipids and sterols that are found in threonine, the grain oil concentrates, are the ones that will feed those cells in our gut. And gut cells that are well fed will function well and reduce chances of gut irritability, also known as irritable bowel syndrome. Then when it comes to detoxification, let's just move on. I want to talk specifically about garlic. I can touch on cruciferous that I've put in this particular picture just to remind you that it is important as part of the detoxification. You can either choose to eat plenty of the vegetables, or we have a supplement as well. And I'm choosing carefully so that those of you who have been in the business for long enough will know that we have a wide choice. But let's talk about garlic. Garlic is important against worms, against those parasites that we talked about. And I remember when we were taught, not too long ago actually, just last week, about the longer detox program than just the 3-day detox program. And I want to stress that a long period of detoxification that is recommended or used to be recommended and can still be done is useful to rid the body of parasites in all the stages, from the larva, from the eggs, the larvae, and the adult worms. So from time to time, do yourselves a favor. I'm actually doing one now as we speak, one of those longer detoxes with lots of garlic and the beta-guard. And obviously the other things that go with it, like threonine. So I just want to say, central to detoxification, if you haven't thought of cruciferous, that helps with the detox processes in the liver, the phase 2 detoxification, and then other nutrients, the B vitamins, the garlic will start the process of detox. Then beta-guard, also central to detoxification. I've paired it with multi-mineral for you. And this is what I was talking about, a full month of focused detoxification will ensure that parasites are taken care of. Consider this program to address health challenges. I'm going to put you out if you don't mute, eh? I'll remove you, Josephine, if you don't mute. Okay, let's move on. Sorry. Right, then also central to the detox program is stage 6. Stage 6 is a mild and very effective laxative. It's all natural. All the ingredients are 100% natural, and it is very effective. But its importance is that some parasites will not only live in the gut, but might invade the lymphatic system. And stage 6 helps to rid the lymphatic system of those parasites. So what else could it be? Apart from bowel irritation, we are talking major stuff here, and we call it parasites. So I want to talk now about homemade probiotic. I do this regularly. I have taught a lot of the people in the team how to make what we call sauerkraut. It is the simplest thing in the world. If you can get yourself an airtight jar, all you need to do is chop up cabbage. I like to mix the two types of cabbage, the white one and the purple cabbage, and put it in a jar, no water, just Himalayan salt, or if you like, sea salt, and allow it to ferment for 3 to 5 days, and there you have it. It is excellent, absolutely amazing, because it will supply fiber and it will supply probiotics that are important for ensuring that your gut works well and doesn't develop irritable syndromes. Then remember the 6 best doctors. There they are. Exercise is absolutely important to get the gut functioning well. And when that is happening, and you can avoid inflammation from external causes of inflammation, you then need to understand why I like to emphasize our cleaning products. The first way to reduce inflammation is to change your buying habits, ladies and gentlemen. And this is my last slide. Remember aloe vera? Treat yourself to it. Build your businesses big and strong so that you can afford these products. They are not luxuries, they're absolute necessities. As you can see, the first attribute is it soothes away stress while energizing and promoting digestive comfort. It's a drink if you can use it regularly. Irritable bowel syndrome and inflammatory bowel disease will become a thing of the past. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm now going to stop sharing and invite you to discuss. Thank you.